Okay, which one do you see it is correct? For number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. First one. Okay, the first one. Okay, you think? Sports do you play? Okay, let's choose what? It's correct. Listen.
What sports do you play? What sports do you play?
Okay, number 2. We have how, when, what, why, and where. Start. It means begin. تبدأ. Lessons. It means lessons. دروس. So here we ask about the time or the date. So the right one is when or where. What do you think? When or where? In your opinion? Okay. Let's see. It's correct. When.
When do lessons start?
Start. Number 3. Does your teacher go to work? How, when, what, why, and where. For example, your teacher goes to work on foot. So here we look for the manner. The right one is how. Alright, listen.
How does your teacher go to work?
Alright, it's correct. Number 4. Do you go at the weekend? So at the weekend, you go somewhere. You go, for example, to the amusement park. You go out with friends, to hang out with friends. You go to the stadium to watch football. So the stadium, the amusement park. You go, for example, to visit relatives. All these are places. So we look for places, or a place, a certain place. So the right one is where.
Where do you go at the weekend?
Okay, number 5. Time do you go to bed? Time. I think it's very clear here. We say, what time do you go to bed?
What time do you go to bed?
Do you like your school? Do you like your school? Here we have the reason. So the right one is how or why. What do you think? Here we look for the reason. How or why. So let's see. Why?
Why do you like your school?
Alright. Do you spell your name? This question is very clear. I think we often use it with the how. How often?
How do you spell your name?
How do you spell your name? Clear? Ask and answer the questions in the quiz. Pay attention to the intonation.
What sports do you play?
What sports
I play basketball and football.
When do lessons start?
Lessons start at 9 a.m.
How does your teacher go to work?
She goes to work by car.
Alright. Number 4. You see here how questions are answered. We have here question and answer.
Where do you go at the weekend?
I go to the park and the cinema at the weekend.
What time do you go to bed?
I go to bed at 10 o'clock.
Why do you like your school?
Because I learn a lot of things.
Right, you see, because we have why.
How do you spell your name?
It's B-E-N-I-T-E-Z.
Okay, this is the spelling. Alright. So I will let you now to complete this interview between the interviewer and Kenny. What is an interview? Interview is a conversation between two persons. interviewer, or we have journalist most of the time, and we have Kenny, a person, famous people, for example, football players, actors, writers, singers. They do from time to time, من وقت إلى آخر, they do interviews on channels, on TV channels. So here we have Kenny and we have the interviewer. Right, so I let you do this exercise. Okay, think of it and you choose the right WH word or questions. Let's do number 1, for example. Interviewer, you get up. I get up at 7:30 and have breakfast, for example. Here we have what time. Example, what time see, for example, what time do you example, it's correct. What time do you get up? Clear? So you do number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and next time we will correct it. It's an exercise, or it's a homework. All right. Okay, let's make it as an exercise, not a homework. Okay, ندير التمرين نديروه دابا، نخدموه دابا، يلا together. Okay, think of it. You take a pen and a paper or your exercise copybook and you write this. I think it's in page 43. Okay, a few minutes and we do the exercise. Page 43, exercise number 4. Complete the interview with the right WH question. Okay, look at the table you have. Okay, listen and check now. Listen and check.
Kenny is 15. He doesn't go to an ordinary school. He goes to a sports school. time do you get up?
I get up at 7:30 and have breakfast.
How do you go to school?
By bike.
What time do you start lessons?
At 8:30. We have classes until 12:30. Then we have lunch.
Where do you have lunch?
I have lunch in the school canteen.
What do you do after lunch?
We don't have lessons. We play football, badminton, hockey, or we go swimming. Then, at 5 o'clock, we go home.
Why do you like your school?
Because I love sports.
Alright, so you correct your answers. Now we move to true or false sentences. Page 43. Mark the sentences true or false. Correct the false statements. We have Kenny gets up at 7 o'clock. You read the text and you see if the sentence is true or false. If it is false, you correct it. So this is a homework number 1. This we will correct it next session. Now we go to writing directly. Use the questions below to interview your partner. Write out the interview. So since we don't have partners, we are not in the classroom, you have questions to answer. What time do you get up? So you answer with a sentence. How do you go to school? When do you start lessons? Where do you have lunch? And what do you do after lunch? Why do you like your school? So these answers should be these questions should be answered. نجاوبوا على هاد الأسئلة. إلا جاوبنا عليهم غيكون عندنا an interview. Because in the interview we have questions and we have answers. Clear? Hope it's clear for you. You listen?
What time do you get up?
The example?
I get up at 7 o'clock and have breakfast.
How do you go to school?
By bus.
When do you start lessons?
At 8. We have lessons until 12:30. Then we have lunch.
Where do you have lunch?
I have lunch in the school canteen.
What do you do after lunch?
I have lessons until 3:15 and then I go back home.
Why do you like your school?
Because I learn a lot.
You see? Fill in the gap with the appropriate words. Okay, take your pencil or a paper, because you don't have it, I think, in the book, and you listen again and complete these sentences with appropriate words. A pen in your exercise copybook. For example, you write number A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 and A6, and you write the appropriate word or the correct word. Okay, a paper or exercise copybook and a pen. Come on. Start. Okay.
What time do you get up?
I get up at 7 o'clock and have...
Okay, repeat. Listen.
What time do you get up?
I get up at 7 o'clock and have breakfast.
How do you go to school?
By bus.
When do you start lessons?
At 8. We have lessons until 12:30. Then we have lunch.
Where do you have lunch?
I have lunch in the school canteen.
What do you do after lunch?
I have lessons until 3:15 and then I go back home.
Why do you like your school?
Because I learn a lot.
Right. Okay, we listen again.
What time do you get up?
I get up at 7 o'clock and have breakfast.
How do you go to school?
By bus.
When do you start lessons?
At 8. We have lessons until 12:30. Then we have lunch.
Where do you have lunch?
I have lunch in the school canteen.
What do you do after lunch?
I have lessons until 3:15, and then I go back home.
Why do you like your school?
Because I learn a lot.
See? Okay, they are all correct, you see? We listen for the third time.
What time do you get up?
I get up at 7 o'clock and have breakfast.
How do you go to school?
By bus.
When do you start lessons?
At 8. We have lessons until 12:30. Then we have lunch.
Where do you have lunch?
I have lunch in the school canteen.
What do you do after lunch?
I have lessons until 3:15, and then I go back home.
Why do you like your school?
Because I learn a lot.
Okay. Now you have written interview as I told you. Use the questions below to write out an interview. So what you need to do is to write answers. You answer. جاوبنا على هذه الأسئلة اللي عندنا هنا. Okay. This is the homework. Homework we will correct it next time. You write your answers or and then you try to come up, if you want to say, with the correct interview. Clear? And you send it to me in my email that I will provide you with, of course. Okay, thanks for your attention. Good luck. Keep home. Stay home to keep safe. Alright, bye.